The Phoenix Suns have reportedly brought a decision to trade Kevin Durant, regardless of their choice revolving around the head coach position. But now that Durant is age 36, what is the best destination for the two-time NBA World Champion? And more importantly, which teams have already prepared trade packages for him? There is one very intriguing piece of information that is coming our way from the NBA world. Kevin Durant is going to be traded by the Suns, according to internal reports from the team. These sources state that the decision is already in motion behind the scenes, as the decision of who they hire as their next head coach won't impact what they already decided about Durant. It's a strong indication that the Suns are ready to move on and see what they can receive in exchange for Durant, even though the situation has already started to develop in this direction, even before the internal sources confirmed it. It has been very well known that the Timberwolves are one of the top candidates to land Durant, not just because of the rise of Ant, but also because they need a veteran to guide them to the promised land. Both Durant and Edwards were teammates on Team USA last summer, creating chemistry and connection when it mattered the most. When talking about this trade, Jake Fisher of the Stein Line said that the Wolves have even reached out to a team in the Eastern Conference Finals to help facilitate a deal, further adding, league sources say Minnesota indeed made serious trade inquiries for Durant before the trade deadline on the 6th of February, contacting at least one Eastern Conference club about functioning as a facilitator to help two luxury tax teams that had strayed beyond the second apron combine on a massive in-season maneuver. Of course, this was about the previous trade deadline, but it's a serious indicator that the team is very happy to pair Edwards and Durant in the foreseeable future. What we're likely going to see is another push by the team that reached the conference finals this year. And now that the narrative of the Suns has changed, it's highly likely that they will listen to the offer that Minnesota will make towards the superstar. The Timberwolves have some interesting pieces that they can offer to the Suns if a trade were to happen. It's not just Julius Randle, one of the most inconsistent superstars in the 2025 playoff picture, but also Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Naz Reid. It's not a guarantee that they will offer all of them for Durant, especially considering the situation that the Suns are in, but the most logical solution would be to trade Alexander-Walker. This way, Minnesota is creating more playing time for other youngsters, like Terrence Shannon Jr., Jalen Clark, and perhaps Leonard Miller. What we saw in the past couple of months reflects the biggest flaw of the Timberwolves: lack of consistency. When Edwards is not scoring, we're seeing a big inconsistency on the court. And, in times like this, Durant is going to jump in and put the team over the top. Of course, it would mean that the current roster of the Wolves is going to be ripped up, but that doesn't mean it's going to impact them negatively. The only answer they need is whether or not the Suns are going to trade Durant, which is highly likely to be a positive outcome for them. Now that the Suns missed the playoffs, they might be a bit smart to move on from Durant and see what their future holds ahead of them. Ever since KD got traded by the Brooklyn Nets to Phoenix in 2023, he has won only one postseason series. Prior to that, the Suns were fighting in the finals against Milwaukee. I am not saying he is the anchor, but they might have given a bit too much for Durant, losing players like CP3 and Ayton. Durant will turn 37 in the fall, and while his numbers are extremely high, 26.6 points, 6 rebounds, and 4.2 assists while shooting 52.7% from the field and 43% behind the arc, he is not really a strong option for the team right now. Brian Windhorst from ESPN has also spoken about a potential trade between the Timberwolves and Durant, and according to him, the situation is very serious and could lead to Kevin pairing up with Edwards sooner rather than later. Elaborating further on this, Windhorst said, "It became clear to me in talking to the parties involved just how serious the Wolves were about trying to trade for Kevin Durant at the trade deadline. The point is, this wasn't just like, well, we're not doing anything on the deadline day. They made some sort of progress. Getting it done was impossible because there are two second apron teams. But after both Randle and Naz Reid opt out, the Wolves will not be a second apron team." You might ask yourself, Where is the logic in trading Durant? But it's quite easy to understand actually. Bradley Beal has a no-trade clause, so Phoenix can't count on using him to improve. Many of you stated that the team should move away from Devin Booker and enter a full rebuild mode, but the owner, Matty Sheba, said on the record that we'll never witness this scenario. The Suns have a massive lack of role players that are especially desirable on the trade market. They do not own first-round picks to trade, leaving them with only 2 heavily protected ones they picked up in a disastrous swap with the Utah Jazz. So, if the Suns want to make any big changes to their dysfunctional roster, the only viable solution for the team is to trade Durant away. However, when you think about what the team had to give up in order to sign Kevin, Mikal Bridges and 4 first-round picks, then you'd assume that they wouldn't be willing to let him go that easily. The Suns are remaining with Booker as their centerpiece, and the most logical solution would be to trade Durant for 3 or 4 cheaper role players that do different things on the court. It's not a secret that they need a bit of everything right now: rim protection, perimeter defense, playmaking, a guard that can pressure the rim, you name it. Teams that could offer this, such as Minnesota, would be perceived as high priority ones in the Durant trade case. But on the other hand, you have the Spurs. They are a team that has a lot of draft picks in the future, and now that Durant is available, they might not want to go all in when it comes to pursuing Antetokounmpo. Even though Durant is older, it's not like he is a massive downgrade compared to the Greek Freak. He can contribute just well enough to put the team up there as a championship contender, and with players like De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Victor Wembanyama, Durant would be a lethal weapon on both ends of the court. The situation, however, might have changed a little bit after the 2025 draft lottery because the Spurs now hold the 2nd pick. But if the interest is still there, they have tons of other assets that the Suns would find very intriguing in a return. Furthermore, the Spurs have the rights to swap with teams like the Mavericks, Hawks, and Celtics. So if they want to pursue Durant, they definitely have the artillery to do so. As of now, the most logical solution in this trade would be to involve Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson, and Jeremy Sochan for Durant. Of course, the number 14 pick could be asked for by the Suns in this trade, but it's yet to be seen how this will all play out in the upcoming months. One thing is for sure, Durant is done with the Suns, and with his statement that he wants to end the career on his own terms, it's clear as the sky that we are going to receive a massive shake-up sooner rather than later. With all this in mind, what do you think about Kevin Durant being traded by the Suns? And, more importantly, do you think this is the right decision to make by Phoenix considering that they have to make some changes in order to make the playoffs? Let us know in the comments below. And once you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.